Delve into one book daily, and today we're diving into The Old Man and the Sea. Haven't you ever chased a goal with all your might? You endured countless lonely days and nights, fought against doubts from others and wavering within yourself. Yet just as you were about to reach the result, you watched helplessly as everything was shattered by reality, leaving only a mess. That deep-seated exhaustion and reluctance, that stubbornness to keep going even when knowing it might be in vain. This is perhaps the epitome of Santiago's life depicted by Hemingway. Published in 1952, this novella is the pinnacle of Hemingway's later works. With just over 20,000 words, it outlines the most majestic resilience of life. It has no intricate plot, yet its extreme minimalist style won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction and helped Hemingway claim the Nobel Prize in literature, becoming a timeless spiritual symbol. Santiago was a thin, old fisherman by the Cuban coast, his face etched with the marks of sea wind and time. His hands, worn by years of pulling fishing lines, were covered in deep creases, medals of time and labor, as well as symbols of loneliness. He had no family. His only companion was a young boy named Marlin. The boy used to fish with him, but later, because the old man had caught nothing for 84 consecutive days, his parents forced him to switch to another fishing boat. Yet Marlin never truly left. Every dawn, he would come promptly to help the old man tidy his fishing gear and bring him coffee and food. On the 84th day, before dawn broke, Santiago picked up his fishing gear as usual, walked quietly into the dark seashore, and pushed his boat into the sea. At that moment, there was no complaint in his heart, only an almost instinctive persistence. 84 days, he said to himself silently. That's nothing. I once went 87 days without catching a fish, and things got better eventually. He didn't blame fate for being unfair, nor did he resent the sea for being stingy. He simply accepted everything calmly, as if waiting and perseverance were the very essence of his life. Behind this calmness was the clarity forged by years of experience, and the pride of refusing to bow to adversity. He was a fisherman, and fishing was his mission. Even if he caught nothing, he could not stop going out to sea. The boat drifted farther from the shore, heading into the deep sea. The salty sea breeze blew head-on, brushing his old yet straight back. He cast his fishing line and let the boat float on the sea, his eyes fixed calmly on the water's surface, like a sculpture merging with the sea. The only sounds around were the waves lapping against the hull and the occasional cry of seabirds passing by. This silence did not make him feel lonely. Instead, it made him more focused. He thought of Joe DiMaggio, the legendary baseball player who persisted in playing despite a heel injury. DiMaggio can play through the pain, so I can endure hunger and tiredness to catch a fish, he murmured to himself. We're both fighting for what we love. As the sun rose higher and gilded the sea, the fishing line suddenly jolted violently. Santiago's heart skipped a beat. He gripped the line tightly, clearly feeling the struggle of a huge creature beneath the water. This was no ordinary fish. It was so powerful that it almost dragged the boat away. The old man did not panic. He slowly adjusted his posture, wrapped the line around his back, and used his body weight to resist the behemoth below. Don't rush. Take your time, he told himself. It's strong, but I have more patience. What followed was a long and brutal tug-of-war. The big fish dragged the boat aimlessly across the sea. Santiago stayed at the bow day and night, his hands bleeding from the friction of the fishing line, his back burning with pain. He had no food, surviving only on the occasional small sea turtle he caught and seawater to quench his thirst. He had no rest, only dozing off when exhaustion overwhelmed him. Any slack could let the fish break free. At night, the sea breeze cut to the bone, and the starlight was faint. He sat alone in the dark, listening to the low rumble of the fish underwater, feeling its strength and stubbornness. It must be tired too, the old man thought, but it won't give up, just like me. He began to feel a complex emotion toward the fish, longing to catch it, yet admiration for it. This was a worthy opponent. Both of them were fighting for survival. On the third day, the big fish finally exhausted its strength and slowly surfaced. When its massive body emerged, Santiago couldn't help but be stunned. It was a marlin longer than his boat, its scales shining like a silver shield in the sun. The fish thrashed angrily, trying to break free from the line. The old man seized the chance, raised his harpoon, and stabbed with all his strength into the fish's heart. The marlin let out a low roar, struggled violently on the sea surface for a long time, and finally fell still. Leaning against the gunwale, Santiago gasped for breath, exhaustion flooding over him. He looked at the marlin on the boat and smiled for the first time in a long while. "I did it," he said to himself. "I defeated it, and I defeated myself." This was more than just a fish. It was proof of his 80-odd days of persistence, a victory over loneliness and despair. He carefully tied the marlin to the side of the boat, ready to return to shore, imagining the surprised looks of the villagers and Manilin's joy, his heart filled with anticipation. However, fate's test was not over. On the way back, the smell of blood attracted a pack of sharks. The first shark lunged forward, tearing off a large piece of meat from the marlin. Santiago immediately grabbed his harpoon and stabbed at the shark, which struggled and sank to the seabed. But the marlin was already wounded, and the smell of blood grew stronger, luring more sharks. "No, they can't take my fish," the old man roared, his eyes burning with stubbornness. He picked up oars, a knife, anything he could use as a weapon, and fought the sharks to the death. Shark after shark attacked, greedily tearing at the marlin and lashing out at the old man. His arm was bitten by a shark, blood soaking his clothes, and the boat became tattered and broken in the violent shaking. He grew weaker by the minute, his strength fading, but he never gave up. "I won't let them defeat me," he shouted in his heart. "A man can be destroyed, but not defeated." The battle lasted the entire night. When dawn came, the sea fell silent, and the sharks disappeared without a trace, taking their prey with them. Santiago looked at the marlin on the boat. Only a bare skeleton remained, all the flesh gnawed clean. He froze. All his persistence, all his desperate fighting, had finally led to this. Exhaustion, disappointment, reluctance. All kinds of emotions surged within him. He leaned against the gunwale, staring at the distant horizon, his eyes filled with loneliness. "Is it over?" he whispered to himself. The sound of waves lapping against the hull seemed to answer him. He thought of Manilin, of his resolve when he set out to sea, of the days and nights fighting the marlin and sharks. At that moment, he suddenly understood. The result didn't matter. What mattered was that he had chased it with all his might, fought against all odds. He hadn't given up going to sea despite 84 days of failure, hadn't backed down from the marlin's strength, hadn't surrendered to the shark's attack. He had proven his will with his actions, and that was enough. The boat drifted slowly toward the shore. Santiago sat on board, his body utterly exhausted, but his spirit unusually clear. Looking at the marlin's skeleton, he no longer felt loss, only calm. This skeleton was not a symbol of failure, but a testament to his courage and resilience, a medal of his fight against fate. It was dusk when he returned to the fishing village. The villagers gathered around, staring at the marlin's skeleton in astonishment. They knew how huge the fish was, and what a brutal battle the old man had endured. Manilin ran over, threw his arms around the old man, tears in his eyes. "Grandpa, you're amazing," Manilin sobbed. Santiago patted the boy's head, a soft smile on his face, a smile that held tiredness, calmness, and the composure of someone who had weathered countless storms. He returned to his simple hut, lay down on the bed, and fell asleep quickly. In his dream, he saw the lions of Africa again, those powerful, brave creatures running freely on the grassland. They were his longing, the source of his life's strength, and a symbol of his unyielding spirit. When Santiago returned to the village with only a marlin skeleton, when all his hardships seemed to have been in vain, we can't help but ask, was this battle a victory or a defeat? With this highly tense ending, Hemingway shattered our inherent perception of success. True victory is never about achieving a perfect result, but about striving with all your might, even after recognizing the harsh truths of life. At its core, The Old Man and the Sea is never just a story about a fisherman catching fish. It interprets a universal spiritual predicament and way of existence for humanity. We live in an era that chases utility and results. Everyone is rushing about for their studies, careers, and relationships. We fear failure, fear that our efforts will be in vain, fear that we will still gain nothing after countless attempts. Just like the villagers who doubted Santiago, they only saw his failure of 84 days without a catch, but ignored the persistence and courage behind it. Just like many people around us, they only focus on final grades, positions, and wealth, but overlook the growth and perseverance in the process of striving. Santiago's loneliness is also a reflection of modern people's spiritual state. In this fast-paced modern society, we seem to be surrounded by various social media and relationships, yet we often feel deep inner loneliness. The exhaustion of being misunderstood, the helplessness of facing adversity alone, the desolation of pursuing a goal without a companion. But Santiago tells us that loneliness is not to be feared. What is feared is losing oneself and giving up in loneliness. He drifted alone at sea for days, with no one to accompany or help him, yet he always clung to his beliefs, fighting loneliness and despair with his actions. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. This sentence is not only Santiago's inner monologue, but also a spiritual maxim Hemingway left for all humanity. Here, destroyed refers to physical exhaustion and demise, while defeated means spiritual surrender and giving up. In life, we will always encounter all kinds of hardships: career setbacks, broken relationships, health scares. These hardships may leave us exhausted and wounded, but as long as our spirit remains unbroken, as long as we keep the courage to fight, we are not defeated. For modern people, the enlightenment of this book lies in, we don't have to be overly obsessed with perfect results, but learn to embrace the process of striving. We don't have to fear loneliness and failure, but uphold our beliefs and courage in adversity. Just like Santiago, even though he ended up with only a skeleton, the tenacity, bravery, and dignity he showed in fighting the sea, the marlin, and the sharks are far more valuable than a whole marlin. In this era of anxiety and impetuosity, we need to have the stubbornness of doing what seems impossible, and the resilience of never giving up in hardship, just like Santiago. No matter how big the setbacks are, never give up easily, because true victory lies in the courage to uphold oneself and the attitude of striving with all one's might. At the same time, the bond between Santiago and Manilin offers another way to combat loneliness: sincere companionship and understanding. When the old man was at his loneliest and most exhausted, Manilin's trust and concern were an important source of strength for him to keep going. This tells us that while fighting alone, we should also cherish those who truly understand and support us around us. Their companionship will become a warm armor to help us fight against adversity. The Old Man and the Sea has no magnificent plot or gorgeous rhetoric. Yet with the simplest words, it conveys the most majestic power of life. It tells us that life may be full of hardships and setbacks, that we may not get what we want even if we try our best. But as long as we uphold courage and dignity and strive with all our might, we are the strong ones in our own lives. Those seemingly futile persistences, those silently endured loneliness, they will eventually become the most precious wealth in our lives, making us more calm and strong through the trials of time. No summary can replace the original work. A good book is worth reading page by page. I'm Paper Campfire. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to our next encounter.